Okay, and then this is a deck that we have actually played a lot of on stream, and we have done pretty dang well with. This is Vivi Cauldron, but it's mostly just Vivi Cauldron with Frog over Fomo. This was a long time conversation point when we were working on this deck. What's better, Fomo or Frog? I was thinking that the black man and Frog is pretty awkward on your Vivi combo turns, and Fomo with Profs was really, really good. But Frog is just like higher card quality overall, tons of synergy in the deck, and you also lose Arena of Glory when you play Frog. Frog is just like so high energy, so high power, such a good plan B that I after finally getting around to working on this, I do think it's good. I think it's a good day to get this one dusted off. One more thing is that I decided to cut the Temporal Trespass that's been long debated in this deck for a Bobo. Again, it's very, very. We have been playing a Griselbrand, which is also good with Frog, but we've been for a long time. Like there's just been like you need one card in your deck that allows you to win after you get to like loop your deck and draw a ton of cards. You need to be able to kill your opponent before they untap, unlike the standard build, which just puts so much value to play they can't win. We were playing Temporal Trespass. I think Cauldron for Bobo is like marginally better, since it's like I think it's a bit better to be able to Cauldron Borborygmos before you have the deterministic kill than it is to like cast Temporal Trespass for the extra turn. Again, very marginal, but been liking it. Have you tried Ox or Riddler? I think there's just no card I'd play Riddler or Ox over. It's like Winternight Stories and Faithless Looting, and to like some extent Griselbrand. You don't. I'm just not really interested in more card draw. So again, we have had like a good amount of success with modern VV Cauldron. If you've missed it in the past, the combination of Street Wraith, Mishra's Bauble, Dragon Rage's Channeler, Faithless Looting, and then also Griselbrand and Frog, which is kind of the newer edition, allows this deck to be faster, have a better plan B, and like all of the standard cards that do so well in modern just get really powered up and or do so well in standard get powered up in modern with like the cheap enablers. Like looting is so insane to set up VV Cauldron on your VV. Looting is really insane with Prof. Street Wraith is really good with Prof. Street Wraith is really good with Marco Sharko. All right, let's get in there. I'm worried we won't have the life for this to work. You could realistically hold up effectively against the Tron decks. There's the Charmaws you can play a bit more proactively. Would Arcanus the Omnipotent be a good one of the deck? No, I would always play a second Griselbrand instead. Despite Arcanus being really cool. So my opponent's on a mold of 5 on the play here. They lead on a tapped Elegant Parlor. Could be Boros, could be Storm, could be Jeskai, I guess. Let's lead on the looting. We might want to hold the baubles depending on what happens. Discard 2 Winternight Stories. Take a peek at our top card. If it's like a black source, we probably won't. Okay, we're only playing 2 Spirebluff Canals in the deck, and they're both here, and they are already a little awkward. That's okay, I guess. Okay, unfortunately, it was Storm. Fortunately, we do have the Force of Negations in the board. They did mulligan low, although Ral is pretty good on the mulligans in these kind of spots. So we win if we draw a Cauldron. Alright, they Rin's Resolve into another Rin's Resolve and a Sacred Foundry. The ugliest Sacred Foundry, I gotta say. Not a fan. It'd be good to have Shifting Will as a backup. Again, we talked about this a few times, but you just almost never get the Citadel in the graveyard in that deck. It would be just a really different build. And it's not a forest for woodland, for a surface cabin. But you could try to build like a looting version. Like a looting woodland version. I wonder if there's anything you could like. So if you go Unmarked Grave for woodland for a Citadel, I wonder if there's anything you could Unmarked Grave for value when you combo loop. Creeping Chill seems not great. All right, I think with them having super live Past in Flames, let's keep it moving. Let's go to game 2. All right, Force of Negation's in. Could maybe cut the Griselbrand. No, the Griselbrand plus the Forces deck is just a lock. I guess we could cut the Bobo because if we just are able to draw a ton of cards and pass with a bunch of forces up, we can't lose. Then we can go down to Profts, down to Channeler, down to Bauble. Have I seen anyone else working on this deck for Modern? I have. I haven't seen any changes to the deck I've liked, I guess, besides Frog. Mark Grave can get to the... Oh, right. I forgot that it's non-legendary. Would have been too good. Too good. The blue-green Birthing Ritual deck is having success. What do you think about it? I like that deck a lot. I mean, when we were first working on it, like, it was a deck that I felt like had a ton of potential, but it was really bad against Boros. And I felt that way about a few decks over the course of brewing post-Image 3, that the deck was really cool and interesting and attacks the deck meta in a good way, but can't beat Boros. and I think that the current builds of Ritual do well because Boros is very much on the downswing. I have a deck that uses Cauldron Buried Alive. Buried Alive gets Narcomoeba as a Cauldron body, sometimes gets Price Amalgam, always gets a Griselbrand or other Cauldron fodder. Yeah, I've seen those kind of builds too. Matt Nass posted one that was pretty interesting recently, where I think that he had a build where Cauldron into Buried Alive was like always lethal with like the Narcomoeba stuff. It played like this weird blue card that I guess it would be infinite mana because like it had this ability to give itself its own abilities, or give a creature the abilities of it, something like that. And the way the combo worked is you would just keep activating Vivi, and then you would give it the ability to make. You would give it the same abilities, and then you would just keep getting a new iteration of the Vivi ability over and over and over again. You can make infinite mana. Yeah, Quicksilver Elemental. Let's read this one. I remember it being weird. I remember like that's how it looks, but are we just playing value Griselbrand? Could be Cauldron Griselbrand, yeah. I think the first Griselbrand's pretty like mandatory. You could play more. Yeah, so yeah, this creature gains all activated abilities of target creature. So because it can target itself, it continues to get the VV ability. I couldn't remember exactly how it was templated, but I guess that's how it's templated. All right, let's keep a Frog. Yeah, so it's in. So if you go turn 2 Cauldron, you can go Buried Alive for Narcomoeba, VV, Quicksilver Elemental, which is infinite mana, but then you have to have a payoff, and your opponent can't have removal. But a really, really cool find from Matt. I'd like to revisit Fate Stitcher Mesmeric Orb. I have a little bit. I have a little bit. Maybe we'll come to a stream one day. Okay, didn't want to see the Row. So I guess we looting first because we could draw a Cauldron. This is a blue card, but I think we are still binning it. I think I'm going to bin the Channeler too. Nice. So this is going to put a ton of counters on the Frog. So I obviously don't care if they jump block. So if I discard this, I hit them for 7 down to 11. Yeah, I think we're just going to try to kill them next turn. I think the looting is lethal, and even if it's not, they're going to lose like at least a Row flip and like crack a fetch land. Yeah, but looting plus discarding these 2 cards is going to be lethal. Oh, sorry, I even forgot about the Bauble draw. It isn't turn 3 infinite because you next to both. I guess it isn't. Yeah, I saw a version with Necrotic Ooze too. I just think it's too slow. I think Buried Alive just is so bad, but... Alright, I think I'm going to force the Desperate Ritual. I think with the Ral in play, you just try to have to choke their mana instead of trying to like get the Past in Flames or the Wish. And if we have turn 4 kill with Force Up and it's not good enough, good beats. Interesting that they're thinking here. It's a good sign for us. Figured out a sick deck with Cheerios manufacturing. I'll take a look. I was really excited for like the weapons manufacturing Song of Creation builds we were doing. But it didn't end up being the case that like weapons was giving me like enough of a plan B that it was really doing much more than just being a Thassa's Oracle. I think I am gonna go to the bathroom real quick while our opponent is in the tank here. I wonder if Dingo's awake. Dingo was gonna stop by the Sweetly was gonna stop by the dry cleaner for Esther. So he might be out doing that. Aspiring Spike wins. Let's go. All right, on the draw. Game 3. Wait, what? It was they fizzled after a lot, or what? What even happened? Wait, they untimely malfunctioned by Force of Negation? Wow. Well, thanks for entertaining the stream, opponent. Appreciate you. That's cool. All right, we'll keep our hand on the draw here. Let's cycle the Wraith. If I draw a Shark or a Channeler, I want to play that first. All right, cast the Looting. All right, they keep a card on top. Maybe they won't have turn 2 Rao. Plays the Gemstone Caverns, so they are likely to have 5 spells in their hand. One of them is this Ruby Medallion. Now they have 4 cards in their hand. Scary. They hit Ritual, Valakut Awakening, Sacred Foundry. You cannot play the Sacred Foundry. That's going to turn into a spawn. 1 mana short of Past in Flames. They drew 4 at the Awakening, so their hand wasn't very good. Then they did find another Ritual. 3 cards in their hand. Storm count 7. Another Glimpse. This hits a Ruby Medallion, a Desperate Ritual, and an Untimely Malfunction, which does nothing. They Ritual, 3 mana, presumably going to play the Ruby Medallion. Okay, they also had a Reckless Impulse. They find another Ruby Medallion and a Silence. Was definitely right to force the Artist Talent, I guess. Maybe that was never in doubt. Okay, well, I drew the Vivi. So discard Vivi. Cauldron Vivi. Let's discard the Scalding Tarn, I think. I might want to loot it away, but I think we need the extra mana more. Gonna float blue and red, I guess. Suppose we just flash back the looting so that the Proft triggers 2 more times. Kind of funny that they we hit 2 lands there. So probably gonna have lethal next turn, although yeah, they can't Orms Chant me with this Orms Chant at least. They've got 2 cards in their hand. Hope for the best. One of the two cards was a Scalding Tarn. They probably could have surveilled. Maybe they only have one surveil land. They could have tried surveilling for Past in Flames if they had more. Yeah, I do think Frog is better than Fomo. It took me like a long... It was a long, painful process coming to that decision. So they go and put a Worm's Chant in the yard, which is fine. So right now, this looting and the Cauldron, it puts this up to 10 damage. We can flashback the looting to 12, so we have lethal. I think I'm going to make mana now. I guess I could just cycle. We do have lethal in play. There we go. Of course, the goal here is going to be to try to, if somehow they can stop me from killing them with the frog, do enough that they're still going to lose. Like, they should know. I mean, we're playing a bunch of weird cards, so maybe not, but it should be somewhat apparent that we've got lethal. So this is another counter for the Profs. That's nice. So I guess our goal now is mainly going to be to find another blue card for the Force of Negation. So let's see if we do that off the looting. We do. And then we fly the frog to the sky with you. Bunch of counters. So I don't know if they have like if they want to give me a fish here or something, but this should be pretty good. All right. All right, on the draw. It's a Mold of 6 here. Yeah, it kind of feels like we just lost or we won that game 3 because they over sideboarded. Sideboarding with Storm is very tough. Huey's play announcement incoming. Okay. Hopefully it's a good one. He said he was excited about the announcement, right? We do love an excited Huey Jensen. I'm gonna lead on the shark here. Might be able to, like, if they're prowess here, we might be able to like play the frog and grow this in combat. Is he streaming, or is it gonna be like an article? Did I see power cubes coming to Arena? No, that's cool. I'm sure there's a lot of Arena streamers who'd be really happy about that. New and exciting 2027. Interesting. Okay. This is 9 damage. That's a lot of damage. Yeah, what is your wish list, chatters, for this mystery BNR here? Okay, we drew the island. Now, do I want to like discard and attack with the frog, the Mako Shark of this turn? I think so. I think just for 2. I'd like to see able to hit somehow. Well, this isn't a ban announcement, but we can dream. I think I might discard the Cauldron, so I can keep a Winternight Stories in the yard to flashback. Alternatively, you know what? I think I'm still just. Well, no, I have to fly, so I'm not gonna have Delirium on this. Okay, yeah, we'll just be able to go Channeler plus flashback the Winternight. Maybe it was better to have played the Delta so we could leave the second Winternight in the yard too, or have left a card in hand. If they have another mutagenic growth, though, we'll probably just discard the Channeler, and then they can't crack the fetch. Although it's not very likely they already used 2. Frog better than Fomo. They're down to 8s. This is again 5/6 frog against their 3/2. So I guess also we might want to just discard to grow depending on what they do here. So they have to bolt the frog. So that's nice that the bolt has to go here. Yeah, let's just let this happen. And then they've got 2 cards in their hand. It's kind of close between just attacking and channeling, I think. Oh. So if I cast this, Street Wraith is lethal. It also turns off fetch lands. I think I'm going to cast it. Okay. A fun couple cards. I was just going to put them to 1. Not very easy for them to kill me on the backswing. They need another show off plus like Violent Urge or something close to that. I guess also Dart would do it. We've got 3 cards after they draw. Okay, not too scared of that. No mutagenic growths. Yeah, Islet out too. Is this the one they preemptively said no changes to Modern? No, that was the last 2. That was the last 2. The return of GPs. Well, GPs are like technically, I don't know. Maybe they're not technically back, I guess, but there are the these Spotlight Series events which are very similar. So best draw is a land for the Bobo. Nice. That's Shape a New Do. Not great. It was definitely more of a proof of concept kind of deck where it's just so poorly positioned against like Prowess and all the Teferi decks. Like that feels like everything we played against was Prowess and Teferi. But if the metagame ever becomes less about that, it is a powerful deck. Like we're definitely doing the thing, but the format is just so bad for it. And that's the thing about brewing is you find a deck that is cool and interesting, and it just is horribly positioned sometimes. So I think it's still good to like when we find these things, show them off, and like it's good for me I think to kind of explain like why I like what I like, and then leave it be for future discovery. Probably okay to just go up a couple forces, and then again the Bobo is mostly to win the game after attacking, but probably kind of with 2 forces in the deck probably can't really lose most of the time after you have your big combo turns. No, that's okay, White Boy. I'm not upset. I'm not bothered. I was just teasing you. Right, cool hand. Let's keep both Force of Negations. Probably leaving this game together maybe. I think we're gonna go Blood Crypt into Basic Island. Do you like Bobo over the turn cards? I do. I think it's like marginally better. Like that was an example of a spot where like we would have won with Bobo. I don't think we would have won with the other one. With the Temporal Trespass. Wouldn't have been that different. Would you Force of Negation a Lava Dart here? I think no, because the Frog is just too valuable. These whiteboarded channelers are pretty cool. Not usually a big fan of whiteboarded cards, but I feel like it just makes sense for this one. Let's not block. Feels like they got a 1-lander over there. Basically. They keep a card on top. Yeah, I think I want to leave the Shark back. Maybe it's too likely they get Delirium because they got 2 of those things over there. It's okay. Probably okay to force. I was kind of wanting to maybe save this for a Unholy Heat or a Steel Cutter. Now, they did find a sorcery. Maybe that moves the needle on the Force of Negation here some. They keep a card on top. Yeah, I think because they surveilled a sorcery, forcing this is less valuable because we're not keeping them off Delirium that way. They're talking about commander brackets. Is Huey talking about commander brackets, or is someone else talking about commander brackets? Okay, they reveal a surgical extraction here. Weird and scary. They surgical the Scalding Tarn. So I think I'd like to not tell them I've got this Force of Negation in my hand. So I'm gonna discard Watery Grave. I'm gonna grow the Marco Sharko, and then I'm just gonna exile these three. I'm gonna fly the frog this turn anyways, probably. I guess I should have let the surveillance happen first though. It's Gavin and Blake. Okay. Any commander players in the chat? How do y'all feel about the bracket stuff? And also, do we think Iota Mana Crypt, is it ever getting unbanned? I don't know. What do I do with the Mana Crypt? Okay, they graveyard a dart. Really, I think I attack with just Frog. So I can use the Shark to play the Winternight Stories second main. Ooh. So I can Cauldron the Frog. Which maybe will... Like, maybe Cauldroning Frog is better. No, I guess I wouldn't be... I would have to discard both of these to fly the Shark. Let's just flashback the Winternight Stories instead. It should be fine with the Force of Negation up. So the Shark grows to 6/6, and then let's take a peek over at their top card. I might just main phase get rid of the Lava Dart. Okay, seeing the show off, let's main phase get rid of Lava Dart. I feel like brackets are the only way Wizards can get Commander players to communicate with their pod, because some players don't know how to talk about power level without it being clearly defined in the rules. That's fair. I mean, it is. I guess to speak on that, I like Commander. I have a couple Commander decks that I don't play very regularly. I'm not enfranchised enough into the culture of Commander that I feel like I could realistically have I don't speak the language. I don't know the jargon. I know I'm supposed to say my deck's about a 7. But like I also don't feel like I'm franchised enough to have that kind of conversation. Wait, how did they have a land here? They missed their land drop last turn. Their top card is Show Off. I don't see a Bauble in the yard. I'm confused. Well, I'm gonna force that, I guess. Is 15 considered a few tutors? Seems high. I'm Aspiring Spike, and that seems like a high amount of tutors for your Commander deck. Spike, do you find it hard to move on from decks that are both good and fun? Sometimes, but that's the nice thing about doing what I do is there are a lot of stuff to get to that's also sometimes good and fun. Sometimes just one of those two things. All right, after some thought, they surveil the Swift Spear of the Yard. I don't know why it took that long, though. It's just like easy surveil for Delirium here. Well, force the Steel Cutter. I guess maybe Mutagenic Growth Violet Urge kills me. So they do have Unholy Heat. It's going after my Frog, but so they do have Delirium. Okay. So if I Cauldron Frog on Shark next turn, that's 7 power, then I can discard 2 cards to make it 11 power. Now my opponent is at 12. So if I draw Looting or Street Wraith, we have an easy win. Profts, we have a win. Okay, Street Wraith is easy win. Nice. Into Profts. So they're dead on board. We don't need to really tell them or do anything else. I'm gonna cast the Profts for fun, I guess, and then discard the other 2 cards, and then put 2 more counters. A Marco Sharko with Frog's ability is pretty good. Discard to make 2 counters instead of 1. So we're going to be 2-0 here. Don't believe in Street Wraith that much. Sad to mulligan that hand, just silly mana issues. Well, this hand looks pretty nice. I think I might put back the looting since we've got the frog as our discard outlet. Frog plus Winternight. Okay, best possible card on top. Very nice. The PT list at 2 I guess I just totally missed that then. Sometimes, like when you're looking at PT list and it's a stock build, you just kind of gloss over it. But better to look closely. Is Verge just better than Canal? So River Pyre is the green black. I looked at all the Verges. I didn't think any of them were particularly good for. This one taps for red and then taps for blue. I feel like it's maybe better than. Okay, well that's pretty good. I need another creature. But maybe I'll just play Vivi next turn. Vivi with Cauldron with Krog's abilities. Why did I not like River Pyre Verge? Maybe I was wrong to not like it. They have an Ephemerate here. Can't Cauldron the Ephemerate. Most of these cards don't matter. Maybe they're playing Overlord somehow. So I do think I'm going to cast the V. Well, no, the thing is, I guess if I cast Vivi, I open myself up to Solitude too much, right? We'll just cast the Winternight. Okay, so let's discard the Vivi. I think so. So not very likely we get Gorios'd. Let's get the Vivi under the Cauldron. Okay, so I'm going to play a frog, and then when I discard something to frog, I'll have the Vivi Cauldroned already. Oh, sorry. I should have played the shark first. That was a misstep. So let's go and play the shark now. Not be too embarrassed about our mistake. Then I'm going to go discard the Channeler, trigger both of these. So I have 5 mana available at the moment. Let me go ahead and activate this frog now, I think. Because I think I want to play the Prost before flashing back the Winternight Stories. And I want to leave the Cauldron activation up if I can to not get Gorios'd. It's going to flash back the Winternight. Oh, sorry, I clicked the frog first. It was trying to get me to exile cards. Alright, so flashback Winternight Stories, which will also grow the shark. We haven't activated this yet. Interesting. So I guess we just go discard, discard, grow the shark twice. And then I think I'm just going to play and flashback the Winternight Stories and then try to hold up the Cauldron as interaction. A little bit worried about Solitude Ephemerate, like to the degree that they've been pausing. That could be something they've got access to. Not a lot we can do about that besides just try to outgrind it, which I think is possible. Although I guess we could just try to find a land for the Bobo, maybe. We could break up the Ephemerate. So I'm going to discard a Channeler. So I guess I technically have 2 Bobo lands I could throw at my opponent, so let's not... well, I guess I could go cast Shark, discard a card, then make 2 mana off the Shark. And I could cast the Winternight Stories again. Let's not do that. Let's just pass. Played Marco and Profs on it. Yeah, I guess I forgot about the Profs. Yeah, sorry. So we should have done that and then gone for some more. I think I let scary images get in my head of Solitude Ephemerate. Should still be in good shape though. So they mill a Griselbrand. Well, I hope I get to Cauldron that. I guess we could be a little bit worried about my opponent having double Goryo's, but then they can't Ephemerate. So they have one Goryo's. They also built an Attraction. A very, very good mill for them here. Just let them Gristle and kill them with Boar. Well, let's see what happens. I think in this spot, if my opponent targets Griselbrand with Goryo's Vengeance, I should target with Cauldron in response. I think I should. Yeah, a lot of these counters are from discarding. A lot of these counters from Profts. All right, I am going to target the Griselbrand with Agatha Soul Cauldron. I do think, yeah, they do have the second Goryo's, but then they just can't Ephemerate, so maybe they can find a bunch of Solitudes here, but it's just not even that scary, I think. Especially if they end up drawing 7 more cards here, they do just edit the Bobo. Like, they could have played around the Bobo by just attacking first if we had targeted that instead. They do have 3 Solitudes unaccounted for. Yeah, we did the thing like really consistently, House, but the meta is just so inhospitable to that kind of combo. Which is something I knew going into, but I just still wanted to show it off. We won a game every single match, and it's just there's so much like Beseiju and Teferi and like prowess. It's just like a nightmare metagame. No, you don't. I think Ballista is like notably worse than like Bobo or Griselbrand most of the time. This is kind of a weirder spot, but I have played Ballista and not liked it in the past. We've done a lot. We played a lot of this archetype. It's been pretty good, but this is the first time we're playing with Frog on stream. It was like always like one of these really close decisions: Frog versus Fomo, and when I was working on this off stream, also, I should have mentioned this in the deck tech, but I kept trying to make this deck more Grixis and playing Emperor of Bones. Because if you can Cauldron Frog's ability onto Emperor, it gets really crazy where you can just like exile creatures from your graveyard with it, then discard a card to bring back those creatures. It can go really crazy, but that's kind of like the only situation Emperor was really good. And I was trying to play more Griselbrands, and then like the Griselbrands is like too many Griselbrands. And then I was trying to be... Okay, I might still do this. I think it's not good. I never got into the testing phase. But I was trying to... at one point, I cut Vivi for Skirk Familiar. I think that's the name of the card. It's a 5-mana 3/2 that you can discard a card to make a black mana. So because all the blue and red mana was not so good, all the blue and red mana was not so good for that build. I was thinking that if I'm going off with Griselbrand, maybe Skirk Familiar make a lot of black mana was good, but then you don't have any blue mana, so it didn't seem that good. But Scourge Familiar, yeah, sorry, Scourge Familiar. I think I'm Skirk Prospector. It's maybe where I'm getting my wires crossed. All right, I think I want some Force of Negations, kind of like maybe more so for like Wrath of the Skies. Do you think if I have 3 forces, I don't need the Bobo combo finish? Yeah, so yeah, that Emperor tech is something I've been trying to do for a long time, and then I keep trying to like, okay, it doesn't really fit here. Maybe I could play like a more normal Dimir Cauldron deck, and then Cauldron ends up looking like it's missing like a good thing to Cauldron, and I add Griselbrand, and then there's too many pieces and not enough of a fair strategy. Because the Cauldron Emperor Frog stuff is, I think, better in theory when you have like Overlord in your deck, maybe Rumble and like Troll of Khazad-dûm, and you just like bring back a few little things in combo kill while still maintaining higher card quality. So this is your take on that thought. How did you get Riddler in here? How did you get Fatal Push in here? I guess not playing any other ones. Your main deck in the Consigns too. And you're also main decking the Goryo's. Looks interesting. Very different build. Okay, we're on the draw for game 2 against Goryo's. You would Dimir, you could do Echo Bowmaster stuff. I guess you could. So we're already at a mulligan to 6. I think we're just gonna go to 5. I think we can mulligan to 5 well enough. Yeah, this hand's better. Although I guess it's kind of stings to put back the Street Wraith with the shark, but we have to keep this has to be our 5-card hand, I think. I think Chant, Ephemerate, Eternal Witness is underexplored. I mean, we have played a lot of Chant, Ephemerate, Eternal Witness. I suppose I mostly didn't like it. Multiplied, get Thoughtseized. I mostly didn't like it when we were playing it because it was so weak to Goblin Bombardment. Now I think it'd be pretty weak to all the Lava Darts running around. Could be underestimating it. Go, Marauding Mako, go! Graveyard Zagorio's Vengeance. Looks like a pending on the frog. 5 cards left in their hand. They do miss their land drop. Don't cast Vivi that often, but it is nice that it's a pretty reasonable card to cast in these low resource 1-for-1 mull to 5 kind of games. That this isn't like a Griselbrand that's just stuck in your hand. So they found a frog, 5 cards in their hand after that. We're getting kind of flooded. Let's see if we can surveil into a looting or Winternight Stories, although I guess we couldn't quite cast Winternight Stories. Well, that's going to the yard. Yeah, that's true. Cauldron being main deck Graveyard Hate also is really, really nice. They found land number 3. It's a flooded strand. Let's jump. They already found their land. Come on, big money. 18 land, roll to 5. Alright, let's attack. Likely going to settle this in game 3. On the play, game 3. Put in Graveyard's a flooded stram. Alright, Polluted Delta. Wait, how did they graveyard a land? I guess they drew a land off their frog last turn. Alright. You win this time, Spider-Man! Game 3, jeez. Alright, I think I like our sideboard plan. Good game 3. Brutal Thoughtseize. Yeah, I could keep this on the play. Let's lead on the Wraith. If I draw a Shark, we're going to play Shark turn 1, I think. And Looting turn 2. Drawing another Scalding Tarn. I think we're just going to go ahead and Surveil. Vada with the 6/7. A2 Badagaboosh. I don't think we want a third land. I like that we can Force of Negation a Prismatic Ending on the frog. Let's go ahead and get Blood Crypt here. Well, graveyarding Attracts is a bit scary. We do have Force of Negation for Gorios, I guess, if they were to main phase it, but they would probably want to go end of turn. Okay, interesting. We got a frog fight on our hands, so I can discard 5 and play a Cauldron to increase my frog's power by 6. And they can increase their frog's power by 6 also, so they bounce off of each other. So that seems like a battle worth doing. Hopefully they don't Force of Negation. Okay, they don't. Oh, I guess They can. They could exile. I guess I could grow my frog by tapping the Cauldron. You lose to Solitude. Maybe. I don't necessarily have to go all in. You know, we can play chicken a little bit. They only discard 5. That's true. Maybe I just let them bounce off of each other. Oh, you wanted to X-fly the frog? Flying the frog was interesting. I did think my battle was a bit better here. Yeah, I do think flying the frog was better. Alright, so they just discard 1 and they bounce off of each other. So let's think about main phasing the Cauldron activation. The always annoying Quantum Riddler. Oh. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So we need to find a Vivi probably. I do think I'm gonna need to force this Ephemerate. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't, because if I don't have this Winternight Stories in my hand, I'm not super likely to kill them. If I do find the Vivi, let's force it. I think I'm overthinking it. It was good to like think about for a second though. You think Hostage Taker be played all these Esper decks? Nah, probably not. Alright. Vivi? Yeah, they're playing the one of the Demir Spider-Man. They can Goryo's it also and get back like a Solitude if I tap the Cauldron. Maybe I should have exiled in response to the draw, because I'm going to have to tap the Cauldron to target this anyways. Or like, I should say I can't really beat Goryo's in response to the Cauldron. They have pending for the Cauldron? Okay. Let's pack it in. Bummer. Oh, Huey talked before, Commander. I guess I didn't get a summary of the announcements. Does anybody know? Don't need a second black. Have we considered Arcanius the omnipotent over Griselbrand to preserve life? Yeah, Griselbrand draws like 7 is a lot more than 3. And like you need to have not summoning sickness, which Griselbrand doesn't need to have. So I don't think it's particularly close. Ooh, a limited championship. That's interesting. I have some friends who are going to be very happy to hear about that. It's a special tournament that puts the focus on limited, supported by the events across the world. That's the best limited players qualify for high-level event. Wait, does this mean that there's not going to be limited at the Pro Tour? 500,000 Pro Tour and a payout structured similar to the Pro Tour. Cool. I mean, I think that's really awesome. W Huey. Might be a game where we want to cast the VV. I think I'm going to keep it back at Profs. Do you think there should be a draft at certain format Pro Tours? I mean, I like a draft at the Pro Tours. I think that I think that it's interesting to have players prepare for two formats at the same time. I generally think that's cool. I will say that like there's maybe a little bit of a weirdness with it where there's like if your goal is to find what the best deck in a format is, that's not a maybe I guess I should have probably flashback Winternight instead of Attack with the Channeler. But if your goal is to find the best deck in the format, that's not a goal that really gets accomplished by cross format Pro Tours like with limited, because like just like six matches impacts things so much. You can still look at the overall match win data, but like what actually does well is so impacted by limited. Like you can't like you could have an undefeated record in the modern portion and still like just not even come close to top 8ing if you just are very bad at limited and don't win. I really like playing limited. Oh, so they're replicating the evoke to keep the solitude and stop the channeler from coming back. Pretty cool. I really like playing limited. I don't like watching limited so much. So I think that's kind of an interesting dynamic. So I guess for some reason I was thinking I needed to have this in play before this happened, but whatever. Okay, so this is going to be 1 counter, then 3 more on the Vivi. Seems like they don't have the ephemerate, which is good. I guess I'd keep the Cauldron. So let's go to make blue, red, blue, red. Start off by flashing back the Winternight Stories, floating blue, red, red. Count on the Vivi, damage to our opponent. Not finding another creature is kind of scary. They're gonna get to Solitude, flicker the Solitude on with the Thalia and get rid of the Vivi. I think I'm gonna flash back the looting instead of playing out the Cauldron. Okay, so we found a creature, so let's go ahead and have this be our remains for next turn. Same spec, I think that's the issue. Limited is very fun and interesting in technical play, but who wants to spectate people casting random commons? Not me. Well, I guess I would ask, like, what is the goal of this tournament series? Is it to increase spectator value, or is it to increase player participation? Because like this limited one, it's like a tournament series I'd be really interested in playing it, and I probably would do like no content for it, and I wouldn't care to watch it myself, but I would like to play in it because limited is really fun to play, not as fun to watch. I don't think there's really anything wrong with that. I think it's totally fine. They bounced the Vivi? Any chance green white humans come back with Zach Fair under Cauldron? So we've been playing a lot of humans with like this Relic of Legend stuff. I think the Zax's Fair plan doesn't sound particularly scary, like something that would actually bring back humans as an archetype. I think we're dead. Yeah, we're super dead. Okay. Game 2. Can't they just do Vintage Cube as a Pro Tour format? They could. I mean, there's a lot of things they could do. This sounds pretty fun. Okay, I think in this matchup we're going to run it back. Could play some Fire Magics. Let's run it back. It's cool. You know, a lot of people were dooming and glooming about Huey's announcement, but this is an extra like Pro Tour adjacent type tournament series. Awesome news for limited players. Good news, you know. Listen, if we're gonna go, Wizards doesn't care about competitive players all the time. We need to be like, good job, good job adding an extra Pro Tour type series. Thank you, Wizards of the Coast. I don't know. Give them a little bit of positive reinforcement sometimes. More competitive tournaments is great. I guess I'm putting back the Wraith. I really need all the other cards. Go back the Winternight. Land. Yes. Okay. I guess I could discard the Winternight. Yeah, my veil as a negative influencer has been lifted. This card's a Flage. We have a Cauldron. So I think I'm gonna go for the Profts because I drew an extra card off the Wraith. Although I guess I can go Channeler Cauldron into Profts. We should probably do that. Maybe I could find Delirium off the Surveil and get also flashback the Winternight Stories. Okay, well I guess I can't keep this Frog because I need another Cauldron for the Flage. I got Delirium, but not. This isn't what I wanted. My life is full of. I die full of regrets here. Horrible. All right, let's look for a Cauldron for the Flage. Mr. Spike, where did I see the announcement? Someone in chat linked it. I have it still open. I can post it in the chat. Please, I'm just a humble streamer. Surveil Flage into the yard. Interact. They graveyarded Arena of Glory, chat. They graveyarded it. Just not another one. We're dead. Dead on turn 4. Okay, I think I know we have one more match. I'm gonna go to lunch though. I'm gonna go on a hike with Dingo, and do some other errands for the wedding. So 3 more days of streams this week, then wedding, then out for honeymoon, then back for post BNR hopefully / Avatar: The Last Airbender. I'm Aspiring Spike, excited for the limited series. Let's raid Demonic Tutors today. Thank you for spending some of your Tuesday morning with me, Tuesday afternoon. When is Dingo starting? He said 5 p.m. my time. So we'll see. Oh.